All right, Shalom, first and foremost, giving all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000, the hopeful elect, Shalom, Barakatum. And I want to speak on the matter of falling and excuses, okay? And the relationship those two have with one another. And what the requirement is for you, or as men of the Lord that strive for the masteries, that strive to be great. All right. Now we know that this is a topic that Christians use to the point of abuse to basically be wicked. All right. But I want to get a few precepts that I just typed the word excuses in here through the NLT translation of the Bible, because that'll bring in more hits, to see what the scriptures require of us, man. Because, at the end of the day, we all know that when we fall, all right, that these things are inevitable that we would fall. But it's not about falling, it's about the mindset and your response to falling, okay? It's about the state of mind and the level of sorrow and contrition that you have towards falling, okay? If you're not sorrowful, if you're not repentant, okay, then you've went off, okay? That's worse than the actual sin itself. Now, we all have moments where we screw up. We know we shouldn't have did that. Sometimes beforehand that you're not supposed to do this, but the demon is just on you, all right? And then you end up doing it anyway, okay? Now, that's wrong, and the Most High is justified in judging you for that, okay? But where does Yahweh Shai come in is in that spirit that's in you, that's sorrowful, that's remorseful, man. Just like King David knew what he was doing when he was getting Uriah the Hittite set up. He knew the whole time, okay? But that demon was just too strong on him, okay? But how is David redeemed? Why is he esteemed? Why is he still going to be, our king in the kingdom of heaven? It's because he had a heart. Forget how the scriptures put it. A man towards the heart, a heart towards a man whose heart was after the Most High. I forget how it's roughly paraphrased. At the end of the day, his heart was right, man. Okay, so this is about managing yourself and eliminating excuses out of your life, man. Not stop accepting. I did a lesson about accepting things. Okay, well, this kind of goes back further on into that, when we do have mistakes and when we do mess up, and that's what the Lord is looking at. He's not keeping score about how many sins you've done, in the past. Okay, he's tracking on your where your allegiance is with him. Now, first one I got is see. Yeah, Proverbs 24:12. It says, "Don't excuse yourself by saying, 'Look, we didn't know,' for the Most High understands all hearts and He sees you." Okay, He who guards your soul knows you knew. Okay, He will repay all people as their actions deserve. So if you screw up, right, you sinned, you messed up, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. The worst thing you could possibly do is to make an excuse and say, I didn't know, when you knew. That's what guilt is. Guilt is an acknowledgement that you knew that it was wrong, otherwise you wouldn't feel guilty. Okay, so that's the wrong way you want to play with the Most High, man. Because He's already given you grace. All right, we're already in a grace period. Now you want to abuse that grace. Now you become a liability to the body. And we all know how the Most High gets down with liabilities. He doesn't play about His woman. All right, that being the bride, that being the church, the men that are sincere, that want to build up the temple so we can get out of here. Okay, He's not going to let cancer flourish in the body, that He's sanctified. Okay. So if you make yourself a liability by giving way to excuses, when you screw up, man, they're supposed to be, man, salakia. Okay? Acknowledge it as a man. I did that. I shouldn't have done it. Acknowledge the Lord is justified in judging you, and pray for forgiveness, man. All right? That's how it's supposed to work. All right? The Lord got tired of us in the book of Amos, because what were we doing? We knew that we were going off, and we would already have the sacrifices prepared, you know? And that's why he said, I will no longer smell in your solemn assemblies, you know? I despise your feast days. All right? That was written because Jake was just going off, trying to abuse the system of sacrifice. All right? Now, we happen to still be under that, even though we're betrothed and into the new covenant. The new covenant has not been consummated yet. You know, the bride, we have not gone into the bed chambers, so to speak. All right? But so for now, we still have this flesh. We still have to teach one another, learn from one another, grow, manage our flesh, okay? Gauge our surroundings and be circumspect. All right? We still are subject to these things because we can fall into situations where, you know, we shouldn't have done something. And sometimes the situation, man, just don't be around it, man. Okay? There's all kind of things in America, in society, that is addictive. Everything is addictive, man. You play a video game, you can get addicted to that. Or you try to have drinks, you know, you can get addicted to that. You know? Dealing with women, you can be addicted to that. So pick up your phone and social media, there's an addiction to that. Okay? The food itself is addicting. Carbohydrates are addictive. Potato chips, they put additives in these things, you know, to make you go off. So we, as men of the Lord, have to be aware that we're in the valley of the shadow of death, and we have to move accordingly. Because why? It's not an excuse. Okay? The Lord is looking at grace, but if you just lay into it, you know, and say, oh, it is what it is, you know, at least I go out on Saturdays, at least I do video. No, the Lord is not dealing with that spirit, man. All right? You need to be right in your mind, man. All right? It says, let me go down to another one. Let me see. Yeah, this is Romans 3:19, to good for context. It says, obviously the law applies to those to whom it was given, for its purpose is to keep people from having excuses. Okay? So that when you come into the truth, man, you read about the curses, you read about our plight, you read about our history, you understand what happened to us and how we got here and what's getting ready to happen, and you understand the law, why the law is important. You know, you understand the Messiah, Yahushua, and why he's important, why what he did was important, why what he's going to do is important. And all of these things, all right, it eliminates the excuse to live wickedly, man. Now, when you go out, okay, and you do something uncircumspect, now the Most High is looking at you in a different lens. He's not going to gauge you as where you were in the world, man. Now, because now you know, all right? And this is not to say that we won't ever go off. And you can't take the philosophy, well, because we know that we're going to go off at some point, therefore it's okay to go off. You know, that's Christian logic. Okay, that it's okay to go off in the future. It's okay to make a plan to go off, because I can always, because it's our nature to go off anyway. So you might as well just plan to do it. No, man. Okay, that is not how it works. I'm gonna get that in Peter. It says, Romans 3:19 again, obviously the law applies to those to whom it was given, for its purpose is to keep people from having excuses and to show that the entire world is guilty before the Most High, man. Okay? So the Most High gave it to the Israelites to keep us from having excuses, but the world is still guilty at large, man, because the law is the law. Okay? The way of life is the way of life. Now, we have guilt because it was given to us and because we have no excuse for it. You see? That's how it works. The Most High doesn't deal with the rest of the world. Although the rest of the world is in sin and they're doing wicked things, man, and you see a Moabite, he's eating a coconut crab live on YouTube. Okay, I seen a Moabite cook. Man, he cooked some kind of, he cooked a snake head. No, it was a camel head, man. All right, he was cooking snakes and all kind of weird, and they had millions and millions of views and people watching these people eat that, man. You see, they don't get curses on them for that. Okay, if you go off and do it, knowing you came into the faith, knowing who you are, the Most High is not going to deal with you the same way. He's going to have a heavy hand towards it. And it's the same way from the kids that you love. If you have kids and you go to take them to school and you know one kid that's not your child has bad grades, is one thing. But if your kid comes home with bad grades, well, you're going to have something to say. It's going to anger you. Why? Because those are the kids that you love. Okay? And so there's going to be a heavier hand with it. And we got to move with these things in mind. All right? Excuses are the excuse demon is something you have to rebuke daily, man. All right. And there are certain things that you know you shouldn't be doing on certain things. Maybe it's the Shabbat, or you know, looking at certain websites. You know, whatever it is. You know, you gotta follow that conviction, man. All right. Because we're all going to be tried in the hour of temptation. That's what's going to reveal everything, man. A lot of guys can get by because they're doing 4 or 5 videos a week. Or they're doing, you know, they're on the up and up. But in their minds, they're doing a bunch of things and they're not contrite in what they're doing. They don't feel any sorrow or remorse. They kind of got the deferred judgment, you know. And that's the worst thing you can do is try to defer judgment in your mind. Because the scriptures say, as soon as you think judgment is afar off, it shows up, man. All right? But the main thing, as a matter of fact, can I try to... No, I'm not going to find it. Let me just go to this. All right. 1 Peter chapter 2. All right. Let me see. I'll start at verse 13. It says, honor authority. It says, submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme, or unto governors as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers, and for the praise of them that do well. Okay? So it's a balance. You know, we obviously know the scriptures say don't suffer sin on your brother, but you still have to walk around and watch these people during the month of June walk around frolicking, skipping. All right, but you're not to feel guilty on allowing that sin to occur. Why? Because there's a balance to it. You know, that's a law of America. Those people are basically, you know, untouchable. Okay, and you would be going off trying to go into the law about why this has got to be enacted, why that's got to, because see, at the end of the day, the Most High that's why the Spirit is there, is to deal with you. Some brothers are more convicted to do certain things. Some brothers don't do anything at all on the Shabbat, and some brothers do a little bit on the Shabbat because it's how their spirit is convicted on what servile work is. You know, it's all relative because, you know, you live in an era where it's so many things are automated and everything is done for you. You know, you got restaurants that can just deliver things to you. So you know, there's different way, but every man has a conviction in his spirit that's sincere, man, on what they do on the Shabbat, what they don't do on the Shabbat. And so that's the second layer of it, behind the fact that you have to keep the law of the land, man. All right. The only line in the sand that we got to draw, and we're gonna have to stand up and say, no, Esau, lock me up, is that charagma. Okay. When he tells us to get off the street and stop preaching, you know, we're gonna have to heed to that. You know, when he starts mandating certain things, all right, that you put in your body or you take, we gotta stand up and say no to that. All right. But didn't the Lord write specifically about those times and specifically about those events that would occur? All right. And so that's what this is basically saying. And it says, verse 15, for so is the will of the Most High, that will dwell doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. All right. It says, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of the Most High. So you're not supposed to abuse this time period, okay, as an excuse to continue doing what you're doing. And we have little knick-knack things. A really righteous brother, he'll have, you know, mistakes. The scriptures say a righteous man falls 7 times, okay. But the thing that separates him from your average everyday Israelite is his mind, his spirit, man. Okay. All right. That's the thing that separates us, man. Okay. Let me see. This is Psalm 51. I'll start at 10. It says, create in me a clean heart, O power, and renew a right spirit within me. Okay? That's the thing that separated King David and his transgression from King Saul and his transgression. King Saul had the complete opposite reaction. He waxed worse and worse. All right? After that sin, and like, oh, let me go talk to a witch now. Endor, double going off. Went into witchcraft. Let me go ask Samuel. Then he went off again and again and again. Just waxed worse, man. Whereas King David, this is what he's saying. All right. It says, verse 11, cast me not away from thy presence and take not thy Holy Spirit from me, man. Okay. That's a true upstanding man of the Lord, man. Although we sin. This is the delineator, okay? This is where we diverge and split off from men of the world, and even men that know that they're Israelites, that are doing the work, so to speak, okay? But they're not, their mind, their spirit is not really in it. They're not really willing to die for anything. And that's what's required, death. You literally have to be, it's required for you to be willing to do what Yahweh Shai did, man, okay? It says, I'm gonna skip down. Verse 16, for thou desirest not sacrifice, else I would give it. Okay, so it's not enough to just say Salakia afterwards, using that as a tool. Oh, I said Salakia, I call on the name of the Lord and says, you know, forgive me, therefore, you know. No, man, that's not enough. It says, for thou desirest not sacrifice, else would I give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. The sacrifices of the Most High are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O power, thou wilt not despise. So if you don't have that, the Most High is angry with you, man. And it would be who of you to reconcile that ASAP. All right, so that's really all I had on that matter. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem Rahakudah Shalom Kwam Yashar.